Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I love to paper craft. In this video I'm going to show you how I make a shadow box frame. I'll actually do the video in two parts. The first part showing you how to make the frame, and the second part showing you how to make an art panel to put inside it. I hope you'll enjoy. Thanks a lot. Okay, so this is basically what we're going to look at making. This is what our shadow box frame looks like. On the back of it, you can see that I have a little stand that we can put on it so that you can stand it up like so. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need is a piece of designer paper. It is 12 by 12, and a piece of a backing from a designer paper pack. So we've got some nice thick cardboard for the back. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is take our designer paper and score it. So what we'll be doing is scoring it on all sides. So our first score line is going to be at 1/2 inch. And it'll probably help if I'm using the 1/2 inches. So we're going to do it at 1/2 inch, 1 1/8 inches, 2 3/8 inches, and 3 inches. Then we're going to turn it around and do the same on 1/2 inch, 1 1/8, 2 3/8, and 3 inches. So I turn it around again, 1/2 inch, 1 1/8, 2 3/8, and 3 inches. And on the fourth side, we're going to do the same. So 1/2 inch, 1 1/8, 2 3/8, and 3 inches. So that's all our scoring that we need to do. So we'll get rid of the scoring tool. And what we're going to do now is we're going to cut out some of these corners. Now, just to give you a quick look at the easiest way to do this, I've done it up on another sheet and I've actually drawn the lines so that you can see. Just don't take any notice of this middle bit at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut out these 3 little pieces on each of the 4 corners, just like this one I've done here, and then we're going to cut so that there's a little tab there. So if we get our paper snips, and we're going to, if we cut down to the second line there, on both the first and second score lines, and then we're going to cut out the first one, cut out the second one, and cut out this one here, and you can see we've got a little tab left. So we're going to go ahead and do that on all 4 corners. So cut down both of those. And we're going to cut this here and cut that there. So we've done those. I'm going to turn it around the other side and we're going to do the same thing. And on the fourth side, okay, so that's our first bit done. Now the next thing we're going to do is a little bit tricky, because trying to see on the actual score lines on this, and it doesn't seem to matter which design paper I use, it's a bit hard to see in the video. But what you're going to do is you're going to go into the second from the inside. So these are your score lines. So this is the second one. Go 1, 2, 1, 2 to that corner there. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut from that one across to that one, and cut from that one across to that one, so that we've got an X cut in our cardstock. So to do that, the easiest way is to just make a mark on your cardstock if it's hard to see your lines. So we've got there, 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 and there. So now what we'll do is just get a craft knife and a steel ruler and just cut from that one through to that one. So you can see you've got your cut like that. Go to our opposite corner. And cut through there. So it's like that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut out these little bits here. So we want to take one of these pieces, get your ruler until that measures roughly 11 centimetres. Basically, you just want to get rid of some of this middle bit for when you're folding it back. So that's pretty much it. So we're just going to cut that piece out there. And then we're going to go around and do the same on all four sides. Now don't worry if it's not too straight, because it's actually going to be behind something. So if you're a little bit crooked, it's not going to matter. It will all come out in the wash. Okay, now keep these little pieces because we're going to be using them for something else a bit later on. Now in this particular video I'm only actually going to make the frame, and we'll put the insides together and make that in the next video. And just as a reminder, this is what we're looking at making, the shadow frame like this, and we'll do the inside in the next video. Okay, so now that we've got all those lines done, we need to burnish them. So we get our bone folder and we just turn them back like this. Turn your little tabs back as well. And do the same on all four sides. So we've got this one and this one. And it's very important to have your lines nice and crisp, because that's going to be what makes your frame. So the crispier lines, the more defined your actual box is going to be. So we'll take those in like that as well. And on the last side, I'm going to put this up like this. And this one like this. Now, for our inside ones, we're going to take the second line inside there, and the first one we're going to come back this way. So the second line's going to be across like that, and then come back the first one like so. back across there. And then down that way. Back across like so. And then down that way. So if you turn it over, that's basically what it's going to look like for a starting point. So that's the basis of our frame. The next thing we need to do is take this piece of the backing from the designer paper. Now if you don't have any of this, any reasonably strong cardstock or cardboard type thing will do. What we're going to do is cut that at 25 centimetres by 25 centimetres, which is 9 7/8 inches. So we're going to cut off this side here and then turn it around. So we've got our 25 centimetres this way. Now you're going to keep this piece, and what we're going to do with this piece is that's what we're going to use to make our backing. So this little piece that stands it up on the back, this is what we use to make it with. So what we're going to do is we're going to score on the diagonal. So if you put it in your trimmer so that you've got your points lined up in the channel, and then just use your scoring blade and go backwards and forwards a few times. We can then bend this along the scoring lines, and with our bone folder burnish it so that it's nice and crisp. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is to put some tape around the outside or the inside of our backing. So I'm using Terran tape here. You could use Fast Fuse or any particular adhesive that is nice and strong, because it's obviously got to hold the whole frame together. So if we put that all around the edges like that, okay, so I've got that ready. So now let's just come back to our frame. What we're going to do is use some Tombow multi-adhesive, and we're going to get this little tab and pop a little bit of glue on that, and then put that in so that it makes that corner nice and 90-degree corner. So just hang on to it for a second until the glue catches. Don't get your finger stuck to it like I just did. And I must have had a little bit too much glue. So just another little blob on that one. And do the same there. So you want to make sure that's nice and square on the corners there. And then we'll go to our next one. Do the same there. And our last little one here. So now we've got that nice and ready to go. Okay, now depending on your designer paper, you'll want to work out, at some stage, work out where the top is. For this particular one, it's not going to matter too much. So this is how it's going to work. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take one of these and just fold it back. So just get your fingers and fold it back. Now we only need to do this on the first one, and that's just to give us, make it a bit easier. So the next thing is to remove all the tape off these. Like this. Okay, so what we're going to have is that's going to stick the back down like that. So the easiest way to do that is to get your first piece and push your backing into it like that. So then when you turn it over, it's going to go down like that. So just have your other sides coming in like so, and then we're just going to bring it down and if you've got it standing up there, then you can just carefully make sure that it's going to fit. Okay, so there we've got our backing on. Now, if you've got a little bit hanging over in some places, that just means it depends on how you've actually folded your score lines, and as long as your frame's nice and square, you can just cut those pieces off. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just glue these pieces down, and we want to do that so that this is at right angles to there. I'm just going to do that on all sides. Do our last one. Okay, so we've got all those glued in. So there's our basic frame. Okay, so in the next video we'll come back and do the insides and put the stand piece on the back. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that, and contact me if you've got any questions. Thank you.